my dear friends and net aspirants, welcome to a brand new video of High Point. And so we have already seen in the previous video of this lecture series about postmodernism and Lyotard's concept of postmodern condition, so in which we have seen already an introduction to postmodernism and its major concepts and tenets and what are the changes it brought to the current scenario of the world and the current literature as such. Now in this video we will be seeing what are some concepts that Baudrillard put forward about postmodernism, and his major concept is hyperreal. So he talked about the hyperreal condition or feature of postmodernism. So that's the major topic of today's video. So don't skip the video. This is going to be a very short video. I'll be mentioning all the important concepts related to Baudrillard and his major theory of hyperrealism in postmodern condition, postmodern times. And if you are interested in having simplified and well arranged study materials for UGC NET English, you can visit my website www.highpoint.in. Have the free trial there and learn more systematically with us as a student of our course. And after joining our course, having 15% of off now going on there in the website. Once after becoming a student of our course, you will get 2 bonuses at least, which are free of course. We are not charging anything for that. The first one is a weekly test going on in every Saturdays, and the second one is you will get a personalized study guideline according to your schedule and your preferences of topic. Okay, so those study guidelines, they are some suggestions according to the responses that you have given for a survey that we will do with you, and you can choose. You can follow them if you want to be consistent, or you can follow your own methods. Okay, there is no problem in that. Okay, so and if you are interested in having lot of free study materials, then you can follow me on Instagram, and my Instagram ID is right here, lijimaria90, and there we are sharing lot of post free materials there in my feed, Instagram feed, as well as in my Instagram story too. And we are planning a lot of more things like live collaboration with other teachers, other coaches, online and offline coaches, and we are also planning to do long video sessions, so short video tutorials and many more things in Instagram. So if you are interested to have, already we have shared more than 100 study materials there. You can also check my Instagram highlights if you want to have all the previous things as well. So there we are having live quiz sessions and many more things. And also in WhatsApp too, I'm sharing some materials, very few comparing to Instagram, but still I'm sharing news and updates related to NTA UGC NET in a WhatsApp group in which we have many members. You can go to the description box and click the link if you want to join, or you can directly message me in this number given in order to join. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel in here for more elaborate and well discussed and simplified study materials, free study materials in YouTube. And while you subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon too, so I don't want you to miss any of the updations that we are making in here. So that's all about the platforms that I am available other than YouTube. If you are interested, you can follow me on these platforms and visit my website too. And if you want to know more about the courses, the free bonuses and the offers that we are making there in the website, you can message me or call me or WhatsApp me in this number given here. Let's begin today's video, and if you are ready with a paper and pen, let's start our video. And don't skip the video, because if you skip one point, then it will be difficult to understand the next point. Okay, and if you have missed any of the previous videos of this lecture series, I have given that whole lectures in the form of a playlist in the I button. You can go to the I button right above the screen and you can click it and have all the previous videos that we have published in this lecture series. So let's begin. Let's have an introduction. So this introduction part I have again we are summarizing some points related to postmodernism that we have already seen. Most of them we have already discussed in the previous video, which was about Lyotard's postmodern condition. Okay, postmodernism in terms of culture rejects high or elite culture and low or mass culture. It rejects the claim of any universal totalizing theory while celebrating plurality, heterogeneity, and small and local, innovative, marginalized, and unfinished narratives that respect differences and specificities of cultures, individuals, and regions. In literature, it collapses the distinction between genre and conventions, making it impossible to distinguish between reality and illusion for both the readers and the characters. So these are the major characteristics of postmodernism in terms of culture and in terms of literature as well. Literature belongs to culture only. Literature is a cultural artifact, and postmodernism, it actually rejects and negates any of the claims that are actually present there as universal or totalizing theories, which actually negate all kind of plurality, and which these theories, these universal totalizing theories, which bring about certain, which recognizes certain things are high and elite and certain other things are low or mass or low class. Okay, they actually reject, postmodernism reject these kind of tendencies, universal and totalizing theories. Universal and totalizing theories means nothing but, you know, certain religious ideologies, certain political ideologies, certain you know, different kind of ideologies are there which are universal and totalizing, in the sense that which are unquestionably suitable to everyone, which are unquestionably, you know, suitable to every other situation, every other place, every one of the everyone in a group. But it actually negates every other possibility of heterogeneity, plurality, and innovativeness, and you know, it actually talks about a mainstream thing. It is not suitable to everyone, that is a fact, and it actually claims to be universal, and it actually claims to have the ultimate truth. Especially in religious doctrines and in religious ideology, this is quite visible, that, you know, religious things are quite universal. It is unquestionable, beyond your question, and also beyond your reason, and also it present in a disguise of objectivity, that it will give an impression and illusion that it is universal and it is applicable to everyone and everywhere and every situation. But here in postmodernism, we can see postmodernism celebrates plurality, heterogeneity, and also small and local, innovative, marginalized, and unfinished narrative. Actually, these things, when we you know, understand the plurality and the heterogeneity of things, then we are actually respecting the difference and specificities of culture, individuals, and regions. And in literature too, it actually collapses, it actually you know, blurs the distinction between, it actually smudges the distinction between genres and conventions, that it actually goes against the grand narratives too. And because of postmodernism, this tendency of postmodernism, it made it impossible to distinguish between reality and illusion for both the readers and for the characters in the work as well. So all these things in detail we have seen in Lyotard's video, that video's introduction. You can check that if you want more elaborate introduction about postmodernism. Now let's see Baudrillard and Hyperreal. Okay, Baudrillard's central argument is that the age of perfect reproduction, photocopy, the digital copy, and endless repetition of images, the distinction between the real and the illusory, between original and the copy, between superficiality and depth, has broken down. So he says that we have some original things, we can actually, in postmodern condition, there is a tendency that we are capable to make endless photocopies or digital copies or endless repetition of images, and because of this endless photocopy or digital copy or repetition of images in the postmodern condition, in the postmodern times, the distinction, that means the difference between the real and the illusory, that means the real original thing, original product, and the illusion or the photocopy of that thing, or the digital copy, or the repeated image of that particular real thing, or the distinction between the original copy or original thing, or the copy of that original thing, and the distinction between the superficiality and the depth has broken down. So we no longer can distinguish between these things. Why? If you look at the post-structuralist or deconstructive theory, you can better understand this. See, what Derrida says, that we cannot arrive at ultimate signified, right? A sign is composed of signifier and signified, and when you hear a signifier in the form of a word, in the form of an image, in the form of a sound, or any other signifier, this signifier leads to yet another signifier, not to a signified, and that signifiers, that pool of signifiers again lead to another set of signifiers. Maybe it will take a round and come back to the original signifier. So in that way, there is no distinction. A signifier is leading to yet another signifier, not to an ultimate signified. For a halt, for a second, you will get a particular meaning, but in order to know better way, in order to have a better sense of understanding, then you have to move from that, that halt in the meaning is a temporary halt. There is no fixation for that particular meaning. There is no fixity for that particular meaning, but you have to move to another set of signifiers soon. Okay, so there is no distinction. A signifier is leading to another signifier, not to a signified. So it's a kind of endless repetition and endless repetition of images. So here, what is the real and the illusory? The distinction between them actually collapsed. So that's what Baudrillard says in Hyperreal, his theory of Hyperreal. Let's go deep into it. So the cultures of hyperreality. Let's see what is hyperreality and hyperreal cultures. A sign merely refers to other signs. So if a signifier refers to other signifiers, that means a sign merely refers to another signs. The entire system is constituted by such signs that are ultimately empty because they only refer to other similar signs rather than truth. Right? See, since a signifier is referring to another signifier and the set of signifiers, and that set of signifiers refer to another set of signifiers, since it is not possible to arrive at an ultimate truth or truth of any sense. So, since a sign is leading to another sign, since a structure is actually, this system is actually empty because they only refer to other similar signs rather than to the truth. So if you know the post-structuralist or deconstructive theory well, then this is very easy to understand. Truth is thus a simulacrum. See, in my video about post-structuralism and cultural studies, we have discussed the post-structuralism deconstruction somewhat in detailed manner. So you can refer that video too while you are watching this video. Okay. So truth is thus a simulacrum of the real in a process he calls simulation. So simulation, what is simulation in the normal sense? What is simulation? When we recreate a particular situation. See, when I was having my teacher's training years back, we did simulation. Simulation that we will create a classroom situation in which we will teach the students that are the students who are sitting before us. They are not actual students, but they are colleagues only, but they will act as students, and we will do simulations of taking classes of certain topics. So in the same way, truth is thus a simulacrum. It's a copy just. It's a simulacrum means it's a copy. There is a real meaning. Maybe there is a real meaning, but we cannot arrive at that real meaning because meaning is always deferred. That means meaning is always postponed, and meaning can only be understood in relation to other signifiers. So a signifier is only understandable in relation with other signs in terms of differences. These two concepts are coming together, Derrida's concept of difference. So truth is thus a simulacrum of the real in a process he is called simulation. So while the original situation, the original idea is simulated, in that process, it's not that you are recreating the truth, but actually it's just a simulacrum. It's just a copy of that truth. Simulation is when an image or model becomes more real than the real. So you are recreating a situation, and the postmodern society or in a postmodern situation, simulation is something very important, that whatever you have created out of this process of making simulacrum, you actually create an image and model in simulation that becomes more real than the real. So the real truth or real thing or real artifact is there, but you or real idea is there. Even though we cannot arrive at the truth, but still when you do simulation of that particular image or model, you create simulacrum, you create a copy of that truth, and that model or image, it will become more real and the real, more real than real. It is the generation of copies and models of the real without origin or reality, or what it is called hyperreal. So we don't know, we have no idea what is real or what is origin. So take the example of Mona Lisa's portrayals. If original portrayal made by Da Vinci put one side, and some other portrayal of this particular Mona Lisa's portrayal put on the other side, then will you be able to understand which one is real and which one is not real? You can have endless copy of this model, endless copy of this particular image, right? So it's like you cannot determine which is more real and which is fake, which is a simulation of this particular portrayal. So this generation is a copy. This is a generation of copies and models of real things, and they are real things, they are copies of real things, and they don't have at the same time they don't have any origin on reality. And this situation and this generation of copies and models, he called this situation as hyperreal situation. Okay, next concept by Baudrillard: virtual reality, global communications, the infinite reproductions of data banks and holograms are examples of the redundancy of the distinction between real and imagined, between true and copy. So virtual reality, so whatever we have there in the internet, in the virtual reality, and global communication and the infinite reproduction of data bank. So all these things happening in virtual reality. Data banks are so powerful these days. That's how Facebook is so powerful. That's why Instagram is so powerful. So they are basically data banks, and holograms are example for the redundancy. That means reduction of or decrease of the distinction between real and the imagined. Because of this entrance of internet, global communication and infinite production of data bank, you no more cannot recognize what is real and what is illusion, what is imagined, what is not true, what is a copy and all. So that's how this distinction, this difference between truth and copy collapses. But whatever you are seeing, you take it as a real thing, and you become aware of it as a real thing which is more real than the original thing. In a consumer society, objects are not simply consumed. So here virtual reality, all this data bank, they actually paved the way for the collapse of the distinction between true and copy. And in a consumer society, these objects that we are consuming, they are not just like that we are consuming. They signify a status rather than satisfy a need. See, we are buying things, we are consuming this not because we actually want that. As human beings, our needs are very little, but we dress in certain ways, we have certain gadgets with us, we have certain certain things, whatever things you can imagine. So we are actually buying and consuming these cultural artifacts and cultural things and consuming objects in order to have some status, in order to have some social position and identity. That actually signify this consumption of certain objects signify a particular kind of status in a society for you, rather than to satisfy a need. Take the things that we actually buying online. Take the things that we are actually buying. Maybe we won't use them once in our life, but still we buy, right? In a consumer society, objects become signs, and what we consume are not objects but signs, where the objects have value for us as signs. See, these objects that we are consuming become signs, become a kind of symbols that we consume, that we are actually not consuming the objects, but we are actually consuming that signs, and these objects, these signs got value for us because it actually symbolically represent our identity and symbolically signify a status for us. Okay, so therefore we consume images, and the extra value is transformed into sign value. So when we consume these objects, and these objects are associated to a certain kind of identity for us, a certain kind of status for us, and we consume these images and signs, and this, when we consume this object and consume this sign, there is an exchange value happening. So when we consume these objects, we are actually adding value to that sign. Okay, we are actually adding more value to that sign, which that sign, even though there is no very little use value, but still that sign got valued, and that transformation happens into value, into sign value. Okay, so these things are not that difficult to understand, but if you have watched my previous videos in this lecture series of cultural studies, then this is very easy to understand. Otherwise you will feel little bit confused. Okay, the next important point made by Baudrillard is that for Baudrillard, the postmodern is characterized by the hyperreal. So hyperreal situation is the major characteristic of postmodernism, by the collapse of distinction between the private and the public. Okay, see, when you are consuming an object, see, when you are following a particular kind of dress code, when you are having and possessing certain kind of things, objects, real objects, actually that is your private thing. But it is not so private. That consumption of objects are not so private anymore. It's more public because it actually provides more public awareness about your identity. It gives you a certain kind of public statement and status for your identity, as well as it signifies many things publicly when you use that object. Okay, so that hyperreal situation is actually collapses the distinction. It actually destroys the distinction between the private and the public. That is another major important characteristics of the hyperreal postmodern situation. This is the implosion of meaning in the media, where science without a reference enchants us. See, you must have seen this kind of videos, right? You must have seen certain kind of videos in social media, in news, or in especially in Instagram or Facebook. Like, recently I have seen a video like a baby child is walking through some very dangerous places. The video is shown like that, and many comments are there, like, actually the baby is walking in a very dangerous place, and it is shown like that that baby is walking quite near to a dam. Okay, a dam, and anytime this baby can fall down. Okay, so that was the content of the video. But and lot of comments are there below that video, and many people, they are accusing police guards, and many people, they are actually accusing the parents of the kid, and many types of comments are there. And construction, those who constructed this place, and how dangerous this place is for the kids. So many kind of comments we can see underneath that thing. But after some period of time, what happens? Media again publishes another video. How come this video has created? Actually, this child, this baby, he or she is walking through a pavement, and whoever made this video, they actually edited and created a situation that baby is walking just near a dam. Anytime this baby can fall down to that dam. So in that way, that entire video has changed and edited, and we don't know what is the actual thing happening there, but still we are ready to believe that when something like that has shown in the media. So that is the implosion of meaning in the media that is happening right now. We cannot believe whatever that is happening in there in media, even though we, without any references, we are ready to accept them as it is. And if somebody is saying that this is it, this is what it means, then we are ready to believe. We are not going to question them. Some people are questioning, but still most of them led to a situation that they unquestionably they are listening to that hyperreal situation. They are actually believing it. So in such situation, science without a reference actually enchant us. That's why people are commenting like that, believing in this science, but still maybe the reality must be something else. And if you want to know more about hyperreality, you can obviously call me or WhatsApp me in the given number, or you can comment below in the comment section along with your major takeaways from this video. And also, if you have any comments, queries and suggestions, you can also mention that in the comment section, or directly message me in the WhatsApp number given in here. And if you are interested to have the entire free materials that we are providing on Instagram as well as in my YouTube channel, you can better follow me in these two platforms, so that you may get every other updations, every other videos that we are publishing in every other platforms freely. And if you are looking at some serious study contents related to NTA UGC NET for your preparation, for you to be more focused and in order to save time and something very suitable to your schedules and little time available for you to spare for this preparation, then you can obviously visit my website www.highpoint.in. There we are giving every other assistance to achieve your goals of having NET and JRF in English language and literature, along with many bonuses and offers and the entire materials for you there. So if you want to know more, don't be hesitant to message me in the WhatsApp number given in here, or from the website too. Directly you can message me, or you can message me on my Instagram page as well. So use any of the platforms to make a contact with me if you want to know more about our website or the contents that we are sharing in any of the platforms. So that's all about it. Meet you in the next video session. Until then, stay tuned to High Point and be happy in your life. Bye bye.